Sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest battles inside them. Imagine a girl standing alone in a dusty school hallway, her clothes simple, her hair tied back, her hands still calloused from morning chores on a small farm. She doesn't speak much. She doesn't fight back when others push her. But what no one knows, not the teachers, not the classmates, not even the bullies who laugh at her every day, is that she carries a secret that could turn their laughter into silence in an instant. Because this quiet farm girl is not what she seems. And one day when the world finally pushed her too far, the truth came out in a way that nobody in that school would ever forget. Emma lived on the outskirts of town, where cornfields stretched farther than the eye could see, and the morning started before the sun had even climbed the sky. Her life wasn't like the other kids at school. While they woke up to alarms and warm breakfasts, Emma woke up to roosters crowing, mud under her boots, and buckets of water to carry from the well. Her father worked 2 jobs after her mother passed away years ago, and Emma had learned early that complaining didn't make the cows milk themselves or the chickens feed any faster. She was quiet because she had to be. Her world was made of early mornings, heavy lifting, and the kind of silence that teaches you to think more than speak. But at school, that silence was mistaken for weakness. Her classmates saw her simple dresses, the second-hand shoes, the hands roughened from farm work, and they decided she was an easy target. They whispered as she walked by, mimicked her country accent, tugged on her braid in the hallways, and laughed when her lunch was nothing but bread and jam wrapped in a paper napkin. It wasn't just the boys who teased her, it was some of the girls too. They were louder, prettier, with shiny hair and the kind of confidence that comes from never worrying about bills or broken fences. To them, Emma was nothing but the farm girl, a shadow that didn't matter, and Emma endured it all in silence. She never raised her voice, never snapped back, never let them see her anger. But every night, when the fields were dark and the chores were done, she would slip away to the barn. That's where her secret lived. Beneath the rusted roof and among the stacks of hay, Emma trained. Her father had once been a fighter in his youth, before life bent him under the weight of responsibility. He had taught Emma the basics, not because he wanted her to fight, but because he wanted her to defend herself. And Emma, quiet and unnoticed, had taken those lessons and sharpened them like steel. For years, when no one was watching, she practiced her strikes, her footwork, her balance. The farm became her training ground, hauling hay for strength, sprinting between fields for endurance, punching grain sacks filled with sand until her knuckles toughened. At school, she was invisible. But in the barn, she was a storm waiting to break. The breaking point came one afternoon in the cafeteria. Emma had just sat down with her lunch when a group of boys led by Tyler, the loudest, meanest bully in school, decided it was her turn again. Tyler had everything Emma didn't: new clothes, a shiny truck, and a crowd of friends who laughed at every cruel word that left his mouth. He swaggered to her table, smirked, and in one quick motion snatched her sandwich out of her hands. "What's this? Farm girl food again?" he jeered, holding it high so his friends could laugh. "Bread and jam. Like we're in the Great Depression." His friends howled with laughter. One of them reached for her apple, another flicked her braid. Emma lowered her eyes, her hands clenched tight under the table. She could feel her heart pounding, not from fear, but from the storm that had been brewing inside her for years. Tyler took a big exaggerated bite of her sandwich, crumbs spilling down his shirt, and then tossed it on the floor. "Oops. Guess farm girl's out of lunch." The cafeteria erupted with laughter. Emma bent to pick up her food, her braid falling across her face to hide the burning in her eyes. She wanted to scream, she wanted to strike. But she didn't, because this wasn't the moment. Not yet, but the moment was coming. That night, she trained harder than ever, sweat dripping from her forehead as her fist slammed into the grain sack. She replayed every laugh, every shove, every cruel word in her head, and with each punch she whispered to herself, "They don't know me, but they will." The chance came sooner than Emma expected. The school had an annual charity event, an open martial arts demonstration hosted in the gym. Most students didn't care, they only showed up because there would be music, snacks, and a chance to hang out. But Emma knew what it really was: a showcase for the town's local fighting club, where teenagers and adults alike demonstrated their skills in kickboxing, karate, and jiu-jitsu. Emma had been watching for years, sitting quietly in the bleachers while the fighters moved like lightning across the mats. and every year she had wanted to join. But every year, she had stayed in the shadows. This year was different. When the coach asked for volunteers from the audience to spar lightly with some of the club's fighters, Tyler's hand shot up first. He strutted into the ring, showing off in front of the crowd. He wasn't trained, but he was big and loud, and he loved the attention. He swung wildly, missed, and ended up tripping over himself while everyone laughed. And then, to everyone's surprise, a quiet hand went up from the bleachers. Emma. The room went silent. For a moment, nobody believed what they saw. The farm girl, the one who never spoke, she wanted to get in the ring. Tyler burst out laughing. "This I gotta see. The scarecrow wants to fight." The coach hesitated, but Emma's eyes were steady. Reluctantly, he nodded. "All right, farm girl, show us what you've got." Emma stepped into the ring. Her heart was steady, her breaths even. She wasn't doing this for revenge. She wasn't doing it for the laughs. She was doing it because she had carried silence for too long. The moment Tyler lunged at her, all the years of training fell into place. She sidestepped with grace, her movements precise and sharp. A single strike to his shoulder sent him stumbling. The crowd gasped. He came again, this time angrier, swinging wildly. Emma blocked, twisted, and in one fluid motion brought him to the mat. The gym went silent. Emma didn't gloat. She didn't smile. She simply stepped back, offered Tyler a hand to help him up, and whispered so only he could hear, "Never mistake silence for weakness." The crowd erupted, not in laughter, but in stunned applause. For the first time, Emma wasn't invisible. For the first time, they saw her for who she truly was, not the quiet farm girl, not the target of their jokes, but a fighter. That night, she walked home under the stars, her boots crunching on the gravel road. She didn't feel victorious. She didn't feel like she had proven something to the bullies. She simply felt free. Because she had finally shown the world what she had always known inside, that strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it waits in silence until the moment it's needed most. The world often underestimates the quiet ones, the humble ones, the ones who carry burdens without complaint. But silence doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes silence is training. Sometimes silence is preparation. And when the moment comes, those who laughed will be the first to stand in awe.